An advocacy group sues Illinois Secretary of State over a 40-year law that prohibits nonprofits from having the word Democrat or Republican in their name without either party's approval. The lawsuit was filed by the Foundation for Individuals' Rights and Expression on behalf of the organization's Democrats for an Informed Approach to Gender, or DIAG. The lawsuit alleges the law violates the organization's First Amendment rights. State Democrats say DIAG is an anti-trans organization and it never asked permission.